kind of just a little task for today, but we're just sorting some beans. Today is quite cold out. It was minus 16 degrees Celsius, so we kind of did chores up and then came in, and it's an indoor day.
But it's really sunny out.
It's sunny out, which is kind of nice. But so today, what are we doing right now?
We are doing the black Valentine beans, and we are putting them in this if they're good and this if they're bad.
Yeah, basically we're sorting through some of this year's black Valentine bean seeds. We'll do a close-up here in a minute, and we're sorting through sort of what looks to be sort of the best of the best and putting them aside for seed for next year. And we're sorting out the not so good. And then everything else is kind of going into this, which is our eating bin.
After we fill this one.
Yes, after we fill this, we'll fill that up.
Ones.
We're going to go through these ones, and we're going to go through some from 2 years ago that we've saved. We've got a big container. We kind of do the same thing, whittle it down to a couple smaller jars full of really good ones, and yeah, they'll be grown for next year.
Not this year.
Or yeah, I guess it'll be this year. We'll grow them this year. You're right. It's already this year. So.
I'm pretty much going to tell you which ones are good ones and which ones are bad ones. The bad ones are when there is like this kind of stuff on it. I don't know what it's called, but
Well, that's just some shell from the inside of the
shell,
pod.
whatever it's called.
But Alex is going through here. It's like this one. It's wrinkled. It's off-colored. You probably could eat it, but we're just throwing those ones in the not keeping pile.
And this one's a bad one too. And then this one would be a good one if it's 100% black, and then there was not any shell on it.
Or any cracks.
It's not wrinkly.
Mm-hmm. So where would you put that one?
Or shiny. You'd probably put it in there or something where you could eat it.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we've filled up our 2020 seed container, and we've put some others aside from 2020 for the seed exchange. And we actually started filling up our seeds from 2018. So we're going to keep going with that. But I guess one thing we were going to talk about was why bother doing this, for lack of a better way to put it. And I guess the big part of it is when you're like, these are black Valentine beans, which black Valentine is a sort of a dual purpose bean. They're really great for green beans, but they're also excellent for producing black beans for use as a dry bean. And the one thing that doing this is helpful is you can kind of go through and pick the best looking beans, or a percentage of the best looking beans, for replanting. And on a small scale, on a big scale, that would be prohibitive. You wouldn't really go through a large amount of seeds, but on a small scale like this, it's not too hard to do. And it just helps keep your beans sort of uniform, and it's basically your selection, right? For a lot of other vegetables, you might be selecting tomatoes at the time when you harvest them for the best looking tomato. Well, this is kind of more, if you're harvesting for a dry bean and you want a dry bean to have a certain set of characteristics, it's a great time to do it is right now.
I like black bean chili.
You like black bean chili? Well, what are we having tonight with the black beans?
Black bean burgers?
Mm-hmm. We're going to try making some out of our beans. We've actually already taken and put those aside, and we've started to do the cooking on that because it takes a little bit of prep. The other thing we are doing, which I guess we didn't explain at the beginning, is obviously we're saving from 2 different year classes, and this is my opinion. I'm sure there's other thoughts on this, because you obviously from a bean you can just you could grow a plant from one bean and use that as your base for a whole population. But I kind of like keeping multiple years when you have them, and we may plant from both containers in the coming year. You're still having some genetic difference between sort of the 2020 and the 2018 seed, because you may have had slightly different conditions in your garden, or in our case we moved. So it's just, I don't know, maintaining from a bit wider, I say gene pool, it's not really, because it's all from sort of the same population, but it's like a numbers thing, right? One bean becomes 20 beans becomes, or 100 beans, or whatever the plant produces becomes 1,000 beans, becomes a, so you're, each individual, even though they are all related, sort of becomes part of a bigger population, as opposed to being sort of direct descendants, for lack of a better way to put it. So that's just a little trick that I don't even know if it's necessary with beans, but we do, and it's had relatively good results over time. So anyways, we're going to keep going here and see how we do filling these up and getting sorted through. We're probably, what, halfway through our 2018 beans?
It looks like more because we only have a little bit left.
Which isn't too bad, is it?
Sure.
Yeah, you can show. That's what we got.
Before it was about there.
Yeah, so it hasn't taken us too long to get through this. It's just
trying to make it even.
it's a good little thing to do on a cold winter day when you can't really garden,
There.
in preparation for the coming year.
So we're all done, and these are the ones that we're going to eat.
So we've got quite a few for eating for the next little bit.
These are for the seed exchanging, and then these are for growing.
Yep. We're keeping more than we're going to actually plant, but that's
So we'll
all
have
right.
more for next year.
Exactly. And we'll probably plant some from each container, right? Some from 2020 and some from 2018, and we'll see how
The
they
green
do.
ones are 2020, and the red ones are 2018.
Yep. So we're going to go and take a quick look, a sneak peek at what we're having for dinner tonight. So this was about 12 ounces of dry beans that we've cooked
That should
down.
equal about 2 cans.
So yeah, it should be about the equivalent of 2 cans worth of beans. So really not that bad, because that wasn't a lot of beans. But no, beans are not exactly, or dry beans are not exactly an expensive item, but it is one of those items that's kind of nice to be able to grow yourself. And with a little bit of effort, it's not too hard to keep the seeds and keep selecting good seeds of whatever variety you want and getting the benefit of eating from it.